Dear brothers and sisters, I welcome you all to hear and see this video message. Today we are going to pray for electoral reformation. Our electoral system should be replaced by open list proportional representation from present first past the post electoral system. The content of this video I make it in the description, you can go through and study. Why proportional representation need for India? The choice of electoral system is one of the most important institutional decision for any democracy. Electoral reforms refers to the introduction of the best practices in ensuring better democracy, clean politics, fair election, ideal member of legislative houses, true representation. In order to overcome the shortcoming of the first past the post system, I advocate for the proportional representation system of voting. In the PR system, every party gets a share of seats proportionate to the share of votes it secures. The proportional representation system has many variants such as the open list and closed list systems. A 2017 report by the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance noted that the PR system is the most popular in the world, with 83 countries following it. The first past the post system is second, with 61 countries across the world employing it. In proportional representation, representatives are elected at least in rough proportion to voter preference, resulting in generally fewer wasted votes than in plurality voting. Proportional representation means each vote has equal value and everyone has an equal voice wherever we live and whoever we vote for. It would take roughly the same number of votes to elect each individual MP, whichever party they happened to belong to. With proportionate representation, voters are represented, not misrepresented. It means almost everyone have at least one local accountable MP who they voted for and who shares their views, beliefs and values, someone who they can approach with their concern and know they will be listened to. Proportional representation means votes matter everywhere, not just in a few marginal seats. Parties and candidates would have to work hard in every constituency to do well in general elections. Globally, turnout for PR election is on average 5 to 8% of higher than for first past the post elections. Proportional representation means majority rule, not minority rule. With proportional representation, any government must have a majority of votes behind it. So, in order to govern, a party needs to either work cooperatively with other parties or pursue most of us to vote for it. Proportional representation allows politicians the possibility of working together, cooperating and coming to a consensus in the long-term interest of the country. It makes policy making by consensus possible, enabling lasting decisions to be made on crucial issues. PR system gives the payment for smaller parties to develop and result in mostly coalition governments, which is need of India for pro-people government policies. Plurality systems usually result in single party majority government because generally fewer parties are elected in large numbers under first past the post compared to PR, and FETB compresses politics to little more than two-party contests. With PR, there are no swing seats, most votes contribute to the election of the candidate, so parties needs to campaign in all constituents, not just those where their support is strongest or where they perceive most advantage. This fact in turn encourages parties to be more responsive to voters, producing a more balanced ticket by nominating more women and minority candidates. With proportional representation, political diversity is reflected in parliament, not suppressed. PR makes sure the share of seats each party gets matches the share of votes they receive. It would mean that if a party gets 20% of the vote, it wins 20% of the seats. Parliament would accurately represent the people's range of views and perspectives. If the candidates live in a safe seat where the same party wins every election, your vote is worth very little and parties have every reason to ignore you. Since most votes count, there are fewer wasted votes. So voters aware that their vote can make a difference are more likely to make the effort to vote and less likely to vote tactically. Compared to countries with plurality electoral system, voter turnout improves and the population is more involved in the political process. The PR system would give no scope for caste trading as each party has a prioritized list of candidates, and if a person resigns or the next candidate in the party list automatically gets his place and there is no by-election. The PR would also put a stop to the exaggeration of regional differences. Proportional representation would set that right, allowing all of the parties with significant level of support to gain seats across the country. And it would also put a stop to the inflated seat count of the blocks controlled by smaller parties like AIADMK, DMK, Samajwadi Party, Bahujan Samaj Party, Trinamool Congress, Biju Janata Dalam, Shiromani Akali Dal and Janata Dal United, etc., who generally receive even less than 10% of the total votes polled across India, but a much greater percentage of the seats and a disproportionate bargaining power at the center, often stalling growth and development of the country. Looking at data covering 170 countries between 1975 and 2004, first past the post is associated with lower quality of election with more fraud. Citizens in countries with PR felt their election were fairer and that elected officials were more responsive to the electorate. PR would also bring the nation closer and will complete the total integration of India. It will put an end to extreme regionalism and divisive caste and communal politics. So this should happen in India. In our electoral system, is it fair? In the 2014 general election, 31% of votes were cast in the favor of the BJP, which is 20% of the eligible voters and only 14% of the Indian population. That means potentially 86% of the India or 80% of the eligible voters and 69% of the votes cast were not in favor of the BJP. This means only 16.5% of crore Indians had voted for the BJP. Still, the fact is that the BJP won an absolute majority on its own and formed a government. In a nutshell, 31% of the votes seems to command more value than the rest 69%. Former Chief Election Commissioner T.S. Krishnamurthy, favoring proportionate representation, said the existing first past the post electoral system in India has outlived its utility. Adolf Hitler became the Chancellor of Germany in 1932 with a mandate of 33.1% from German electorate. But 66.9% of Germans did not vote for him, just as 69% of Indians did not vote for Narendra Modi in 2014 and 63% of Indians in 2019. Ultimately, India will have to first determine what it wants out of its election and then choose the electoral system that works for those goals. India is not need to PR system. Our upper house election Rajya Sabha is actually based on the proportionate representation system. Based on their strength in the state assemblies, political parties can nominate their members to the upper house. The same system is being followed while electing members of the legislative council from the state assembly. On post-independence, our leaders thought that PR system may prove to be too complex for Indian voters, most of whom were illiterate at that time and were being introduced to universal adult suffrage for the first time. Also, Ambedkar regarded PR as an inadequate mechanism to ensure representation of minorities, for he believed the PR system would give historically marginalized groups a mere voice in the election of the representative and not a definite quota as ensured by the reservation of seats. But even after 75 years of independence, more than half of the population is still struggling for basic amenities of life. Among other changes in the constitution, we feel there is a need to change the electoral system. The proportionate electoral system has been tested and tried in many countries and has been found to provide equal rights to all citizens. It will benefit India also. In 1996, by 20.2% of vote percentage, BJP received 161 MP in Lok Sabha and formed the government. But Congress had 28.8% vote share by they received only 140 MPs and lost the government. In 1998 general election, BJP vote share was 25.5% but received the 181 Lok Sabha MPs and formed the government. But Congress vote share was 25.8% and received 141 MPs, so lost to form the government. Also in 1999 general election, BJP vote share was 23.7% with received 182 MPs, but Congress had 28.3% with only 114 MPs, which leads to loss the formation of the government. By this analysis, both the Congress and BJP benefited to form the government by minimum vote share to form the government by first past the post-electoral system. From independence, most benefited party to form the government was Congress, only to form union government. By the same system, this party punished not even to acquire official opposition position, 44 MPs in 16th and 52 MPs in 17th Lok Sabha, even had a 19.4% of votes share. So Congress has to initiate to implement PR in India. Amen.